students, how are you? Hope you all are fine. So welcome to our channel OneX Education. Please subscribe, like and press the bell icon so that you get notification whenever we upload a new video. So jodi tumalok aji prothom bar loi ahisa tetia hale subscribe koriba, like koriba aru bell icon to press koriba jate tumalok notification poa ami jetia notun video upload koru. So without wasting much time, let's start our chapter. So before starting the chapter, I want to tell you that today I will teach you political science of class 10 SEBA board. Okay, so our first chapter of political science is what? Indian democracy. So Indian democracy. So our first chapter of political science is what? Indian democracy. So we all know that what? That India was under the British rule. Okay, so India was under the British rule for about what? Two centuries. Okay, so India was under the British control or under the British government for about what? 2 centuries. Okay, so after getting freedom, okay, so when India got freedom on 15 August 1947, then what? India became the largest democracy of the world. Okay, when India got freedom on 15 August 1947, at that time India was the largest democracy in the world. So in such a large country, okay, in such a large democratic country, a constitution is very necessary. For to run properly a country, a democratic country, so for that what? A constitution, a properly drafted constitution is what? Utmost necessary, because you see, constitution and democracy both are complementary to each other. Okay, so both constitution and democracy both complement each other. So for that purpose what? That after getting freedom, our immediate need was what? To have a constitution of our own. So that we can run our country according to our constitution. So in 1945 in England, okay, so at that time election held in England, and in that election what? Labour Party came into force. Labour Party was elected as a new government. Okay, so for 1945, at that time what? When election held in England, in that election what? Labour Party was elected as a new government of England, and this Labour Party, okay, so this Labour Party decided to declare India as a free country, or they decided to give India freedom. Okay, so when in 1945 Labour Party came into force, this Labour Party, okay, this Labour Party, they decided to make India free. So for that purpose in 1946, okay, so in 1946 this new government sent cabinet mission to India. So cabinet mission. So this Labour Party or this new government in 1946 sent cabinet mission to India to create a conjugal environment and to make necessary preparation for making a constitution. Okay, so in 1946 Labour Party of England or the new government of England sent cabinet mission to India to form a what? Constitution of India. So on 9th December 1946, so 9th December 1946, okay, so the first ever meeting of Constitution Assembly took place? So, on 9th December 1946, the first sitting of Constitutional Assembly, Constituent Assembly took place, and that Constitution Assembly was presided by Dr. Sachidananda. So, the first Constitution Assembly on 9th December 1946 was presided by Dr. Sachidananda Sinha. Okay, so he first presided the Constitution Assembly of our country, and in that Constitution Assembly, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was made the President of India. Okay, so who was the first President of India? Rajendra Prasad. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Okay. So, and Dr. Rajendra Prasad, in the first ever sitting of Constituent Assembly, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was made what? The President of India. Okay. So, when Dr. Rajendra Prasad became the President of India, so he formed a what? Drafting committee. Okay, so drafting committee. So on 29 August 1947, President Rajendra Prasad formed a what? Drafting committee. Okay, so drafting committee means what? Who will make a draft of our constitution. Okay, draft means a written format. Okay, so a written form. So after becoming the President of India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad on 29 August 1947, he formed a what? Drafting committee, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the first what? Chairman of the drafting committee. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. First what? Chairman of drafting committee. Okay, so Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the first chairman of drafting committee. So after a rigorous work of a long 3 years, okay, so after a rigorous work of a long 3 years, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar submitted the draft copy of our constitution to Rajendra Prasad on when? 26th November 1949. So after a rigorous work for 3 years, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar drafted the constitution of our country and submitted the draft copy to Dr. Rajendra Prasad on 26 November 1940. Sorry, not 46, it will be 49. Okay, so submitted the draft copy on 26 November 1949, and on 26th January 1950, okay, our Constitution of India came into force. Okay, Constitution of India. Constitution of India came into force. So Our first draft copy of Constitution was submitted to President on 26 November 1949, and after almost 3 months, okay, on 26 January 1950, our Constitution of India finally came into force. So from 26 January 1950, India was following what? The Constitution of our own country. Okay, so between the period, okay, from 15 August 1947 to, okay, to 26th January 1950, between this period, okay, from 15 August 1947 to 26 January 1950, India was ruled according to the Government Act of England. Okay, so between this period, since India don't have our own constitution, we don't have our own rules how country will run, so for that purpose, between this period, okay, so India was ruled according to the Government Act. Okay, Government Act of 1935. So Government Act of Govt Act of 1935. So between this period, okay, so almost 3 years, okay, so for almost 3 years, India was what? Ruled according to what? Government Act of 1935, because during this period, India don't have its own constitution, own rules, and for that purpose, it was ruled according to the Government Act of 1935. So after the introduction, now we will see about the ideals of our constitution. So ideals of constitution. So ideal of constitution. So whenever in ideals of constitution, you see what is there. So whenever we bought a new book or whenever we study a new book, there is some introduction in that book. Okay, so in each and every book we get what? Some introduction. Likewise, what? In our constitution, preamble is the introduction of what? Constitution. So like what? Like other books, constitution have also its introduction, and that introduction is known as what? Preamble. So we can say what? Preamble is the introduction of our constitution, because each and every word mentioned in the preamble, okay, whatever words are mentioned in the preamble, so that all bears what? Ideals, philosophy and objectives of the constitution. So whatever there is mentioned in the preamble, so each and every word, okay, bears some what? Ideals, ideology, some philosophy and some objective of the constitution. So now we will see what is there in the preamble. Okay, so in preamble, what is given, you see, actually we should all know about our preamble. Okay, so we the people of India. Okay, so first word is what? We the people. Okay, so we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to ensure all its citizens what justice. Justice, it may be social, economic, and political. Okay, so Constitution what tries to give us what? Sovereignty, sovereign. Okay, socialist, secular, democratic, republic, and to ensure all its citizen, okay, justice. So justice may be economic, okay, justice, economic justice, then political justice, and social justice. Okay, then preamble tries to give what? So liberty of what? Expression, okay, expression, beliefs, faiths. Okay, so again what? After equality, so equality of what? Status, opportunity. Okay, so all have what? Equals in case of status, no one is rich, no one is poor. So in constitution everyone is what? Same. Okay, so it ensures to give what? Equality of status and opportunity, all will get equal opportunity. Okay, then fraternity. Okay, fraternity. So fraternity what? It tries to give dignity to individuals. Okay, so it tries to give what? Dignity. All people have what? Dignity. Okay, whether we are doing low work or whether we are in very high post, we all have what? Dignity. So constitution also says what? That constitution tries to give what? Dignity to an individual. Okay, it tries to give dignity of the individual and try to what? Unity and integrity of the country. It also tries to ensure what? Unity and integrity of our country. Okay, so this was all about what? Preamble. So I will repeat once more. So what is there in the preamble? So preamble states that we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, social, secular, democratic and republic, and ensures all its citizens justice, okay, liberty, equality and fraternity. Okay, and what? We adopt our constitution. Okay, so we adopt our constitution on 26th January 1950. Okay, so it was the first introduction of our constitution. That is, preamble is the first introduction of our constitution. So now we will briefly discuss about what? The ideas of preambles. So first one is sovereignty. Sovereignty. So we will briefly discuss about what? The ideals. So sovereignty means what? So sovereignty means what? Freedom from all external powers. That means supreme. Okay, so India is a sovereign state. Okay, so state, actually it was mentioned in the constitution, but actually we see that in India is a country. Okay, so India is a sovereign country. Okay, because India have all its power. India has the power of its own. India is not under any country. Okay, sovereign means what? Supreme. We are not subordinate to any external countries or any other countries. Okay, so that is what? That is known as sovereign. Okay, so India in constitution tries to make India a sovereign, that is freedom from all countries. Okay, means India is not under a domination of any country. Okay, so India is a free and India can take its own decision. Again, this is what? Sovereign. So after sovereignty there is what? Socialist. Socialist. Okay, so what is socialist? So we all know India is a social state. Okay, so India is a social country. So what? Socialist, the term socialist or the term social was not actually incorporated in the Constitution of India. So when Constitution of India was formed, at that time the term socialist was not included, but after 42nd amendment, so the term socialist was incorporated in the constitution of our country on 42nd, after 42nd amendment in 1976. Okay, so when the term socialist was included, the term socialist was included on 42nd amendment 1976, and the term socialist indicates or signifies what? That there will not be any inequalities. Okay, irrespective of income. That means what? That India tries to give what? Equality among the people. Okay, with respect to what? Income, status, opportunity. Okay, so socialist tries to give what or signifies what? That there will be no inequality among the people of the country with respect to or with regard to what? With respect to income, status, opportunity, etc. That means in the eyes of the constitution, all people, whether he is incoming more or whether he is incoming less, so all will get equal opportunities. Okay, all have equal standard of living also. Okay, rich and poor doesn't matter. So socialist tries to give what? Equality among the people. Okay, with respect to income, opportunities and standard of living. So after socialist we get what? Secular. So we all know, so at today's at present context, secularism is very necessary. Okay, so secular means what? India is a secular state. It is mentioned in the constitution. That means what? India does not have any official religion. Okay, so India doesn't have any official religion and all peoples are free to what? Free to observe or perform their own religion, beliefs and faith. Okay, so secular means what? That there will be no discrimination. Okay, the constitution tries to give what? Equal, sees what? Every religion with equal eyes. Okay, so India doesn't have its own religion, official religion. Okay, so there in India, whatever religions are there, there are many religions are there, and we all are living what? Peacefully together, and actually we should strive to live peacefully. Okay, so we should not fight among ourselves regarding what? With religion. So this secularism was included in our constitution to make what? All religion equal. So in the eyes of constitution, no religion is supreme, no religion is lower. Okay, so all are equal in the eyes of the constitution. Okay, so secular means India doesn't have its own official religion. Okay, there the people of different religion can live in India. So after secular there is what? Democratic. So democratic. So we all know India is the democratic country. Okay, so India is the largest democratic country in the world. Okay, so democracy means what? Actually democracy means by the people, for the people, of the people. Okay, so by the people, for the people, of the people. So that means what? That means that in India, okay, the administrative power are actually vested on the people of the country. So in democratic country, actual administrative power was vested what? On the people of the country. Since we are responsible, okay, so in the government of our country, we the people plays an important role because we cast our vote, we select our representative. Okay, so this makes India what? A democratic country. Since we the people of India indirectly run what? Run the country. Though we don't directly run the country, but we indirectly what? Run the economy or the country, our country. So for that reason what? India became what? The largest democracy of the country, since we elect the representative to the government. Okay, so this is what? Democracy. Okay, but democratic. And number 5 is republic. So India is also a republic state. Okay, so republic means what? That the head of the country, or head of the country, actually the president. Okay, so the president actually elected by the people of the country. Okay, so we the people of the country, though we don't directly cast our vote for president, but actually we indirectly, okay, we elect the representative, and that representative in turn elect the president of our country. So this makes India what? A republic. Since the head of the country, the president, is elected indirectly by the people, this makes India what? A republic country. And on the other hand, what? That the post of the president, okay, the head of the country, is not hereditary. Okay, so it doesn't go what? By family. It doesn't go, doesn't run by hereditary, means one family, succeeding family. Okay, so since India, the head of the state or head of the country, president, is indirectly elected by the people, and the post of the head of the country is not hereditary, so that makes India what? A republic country. Okay, so after republic there is what? Justice. Okay, so justice means what? All will get equal justice in the eyes of law, whatever may be economic justice, social justice or political justice, all will be same, okay, in the eyes of what? In the eyes of the constitution or in the eyes of the law. So again, what? Justice is given equality, okay, so equality in income. Constitution also what? Ensures that it will give equality of income, opportunities, okay. Again, there is what? Liberty. Liberty means freedom, okay, so we all have what? Freedom of speech, we have liberty, we can say, but the liberty also has some limitation. Though we have what? Liberty of expression, then also we should not harm any other's feeling, okay, so we have our own liberty of expression, but that expression or that liberty should not harm others. So Constitution also give what? Liberty of expression, okay, liberty of faith, liberty of religion. So these are some of the ideals, okay, which were provided in the Constitution, and India is run according to this ideal which were provided in the preamble of the Constitution. Okay, so India is run by what? Or India follow, okay, India follow what? The constitution of the country, and whatever each and every word mentioned in the preamble, that should what? The government should follow that words. Okay, no one can go against the constitution of our country. Everyone must follow the constitution of our country. Okay, so that makes what? A constitution an important part of our country. So these were some of the ideas which were instituted or constitute our constitution of India. Okay, whatever you say, these ideas, okay, was actually proposed by Pandit Nehru. Okay, so Pandit Nehru on 13 December 1946. Okay, so on what? Pandit Nehru on 13 December 1946 proposed some of the ideals, okay, which were the ideals like sovereignty, equality, liberty, democracy, socialist and world fraternity. So these ideas, okay, like sovereignty, equality, liberty, democracy, socialist and world fraternity was actually proposed by Pandit Nehru on 13 December 1946, and his ideas or his proposed ideals were accepted, okay, on 22nd January 1947. Okay, so when B.R. Ambedkar or his committee, the drafting committee, were drafting the constitution of our country, so they accepted the proposal of Pandit Nehru on 22nd January 1947, and these ideals were included in the constitution of our country. Okay, so some of the important objectives which were proposed by Pandit Nehru were, so Pandit Nehru proposed some of the proposals. Okay, so number one was what? The number one objective was what? The Constituent Assembly should declare India as a what? Independent, sovereign republic. Okay, so some of the objectives, okay, objectives proposed by Pandit Nehru. Okay, so the first objective proposed by Nehru was what? Pandit Nehruji was what? That in the constitution should declare India as what? Independent, sovereign republic. Okay, and though later the term independent was removed and only sovereign and republic was included. Okay, so first objective was what? To declare India as sovereign republic. Okay, number two objective was what? Union of states, which were previously what? British rule. So all the states should be made one. Okay, for that purpose he mentioned what? A union of states. So he gave importance on what? Union of states. That means those which states were under the British government or princely kingdom under the British. So that should be what? Continue to be what? Union of state. That all states should be brought under one, or all the states should make what? Union. Okay. So he proposed what? Union of states. Previous Union of states, those which were under the British ruled India. Okay. Number 3, that social, economic, political, justice, okay, equality, liberty of the Indian people, what should be given what? Due. Okay, that means what? All the economic justice, social justice, political justice, or whether liberty, equality, okay, of the Indian people should be recognized. That means the constitution should recognize what? The justice, liberty, equality of the Indian people. Okay, so justice, equality, then liberty, justice, equality, liberty, then fraternity. So all this should be what? Of the Indian people should be recognized in the constitution of our country. Number 4, the interest, okay, the constitution should give, okay, safeguard to the interest of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, backward classes and the minority people of the country. That means the constitution should what? Give safeguard, okay, safeguard to what? Scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes and minority. So the interest, okay, the interest of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes and minority should be given safeguard by the constitution of our country. Number 5, the constitution should give, okay, the 5th objective was what? The constitution of our country should safeguard, okay, the interest the constitution of our country should give safeguard to what? Freedom, sovereignty, liberty. So the 5th objective was what? That the constitution, okay, the constitution should safeguard, okay, should safeguard the freedom, sovereignty and republic of the people. Okay, so the people of India should get what? Freedom, sovereignty and republic, and this freedom or liberty or republic should be given safeguard by the constitution of our country. Our sixth objective was what proposed by Pandit Nehru was that India should try to maintain world international relation. Okay, world international relation, world peace, etc. So India should try to maintain cordial, okay, a good relation with other international countries. India should also try to what maintain world peace in the world. Okay, so for that purpose what India should play an active part in the what in maintaining or cordial relation in the with other what countries of the world. So in 6 point what was given that India should try to maintain a cordial world international relation, world peace with the other countries. So number 7. So the people, our sorry not 6, our 7 number. So 7 number objective proposed by Pandit Nehru was what? The people of India what shall enjoy all the powers. Okay, the people of India shall enjoy what? All the powers. That means the government, okay, the government will what? Will rule according to what? According to the people. Okay, or the government will what? Derive its power from the people. That means in that Indian constitution should give more importance to what? To the people. Since our country is democratic country and our country is what? Most of the powers are vested on the people. For that purpose what? Pandit Nehru, actually this democratic was proposed by actually Pandit Nehru, and he told what, or he proposed what, that all the powers should be vested on the people of the country and the government shall derive its power from the people of the country. Okay, so that means the government will run according to what? According to the people of India. And our number 8 was what? Our last objective proposed by Pandit Nehru was so last objective proposed by Pandit Nehru was what? The indigenous states. So indigenous means what? Native, our own. Okay, so the indigenous states which were desired to join Indian Union states. Okay, so the native or the indigenous states which those states which desire to join Indian Union, they should what? They should enjoy what? The constitutional power of provinces through self-government and what? With residuary powers. That means what? The indigenous states, our own old states, okay, which desire to join Indian Union, okay, they should be given what? They should be given to join with its own what? Self-government. Those states can run by what? By their self-government. Then also they can join what? Indian Union of States. Okay, so those indigenous states, okay, those old our native states which desire to join Indian Union, okay, shall be given its constitutional power, okay, through self-government with residuary power. Okay, so residuary power means remaining powers. Okay, so they can run their own states by their own government, those with those power which were not mentioned in the constitution. Okay, or you can say what? That those these indigenous states can run, though they will join the Indian states, okay, Indian Union states, then also they can run their self-government with its residuary power. So these were all about what? About the objectives which were proposed by Pandit Nehru on 13th what? On 13th December 1946. Okay, and these objectives were what? Included in our constitution, or included by the drafting committee, or accepted by the drafting committee on what? 22nd January 1947. So now we will discuss what the federal characteristics of Indian political system. Okay, federal characteristics. So, federal characteristics of Indian political system. So, the word federal, okay, or the word federation is derived from what? Latin word. The word federal or federation is derived from Latin word, okay, Latin word feudus, okay. So the word federation was derived from Latin word feudus, and it means what? Agreement or treaty. Agreement or treaty. So thus federal state means what? Federal state means union of state. Okay, union of states what? Agreed by what? Mutual agreement or treaty, or states which were formed through mutual agreement or treaty is known as what? Federal states. Okay, so federal states is a state which was formed through mutual agreement or treaty. Okay, so those states which were formed through agreement, if through an agreement or treaty, so that state will be known as what? Federal states. Okay, so the term federal was first used by what? By USA. Okay, so the federal state was first adopted by the country like USA. So USA was the first country which adopted what? Federal state. Okay, so for that purpose USA is known as the home of federation. Okay, since first federal state was adopted in USA, and for that reason what? USA is known as what? The homeland of federal states. Okay, so though India, okay, though USA is the first to accept or adopt federal state, but India actually follow what? Canada. Okay, so though federal state of USA was first, but still India adopted what? The federal characteristics of Canada. Okay, the federal characteristics of Canada was mainly based on what? On the country like Canada. So now the question arises, okay, a question may arise that since USA is the first to adopt the federal characteristics of a state, then why India follow the federal characteristics of Canada? Okay, so this is an important question. So since first federal characteristics was adopted in USA, still India don't follow USA, but follow whom? Follow Canada for its federal states. So you see why India follow Canada. Since USA, okay, since actually USA is a real federation, since its people enjoy what? More powers and freedoms and dual citizenship also. In USA, what happened? There is what? The people and the states, okay, the states enjoy what? More freedom, not people, the states, okay. So in USA, what? The states enjoy more powerful and the people enjoy what? Dual citizenship. But what happened, you see, the makers of India thought, okay, the makers of India thought that if India adopt the federal characteristics of USA, then the unity and integrity of India might be harmed, okay. So the unity and integrity which was mentioned in our constitution might get harmed because the states will enjoy more power, they will do accordingly, okay, and the people will also enjoy dual citizenship. So in that case, the unity and integrity of a country might get harmed, and for that purpose, what happened? India doesn't follow the federal characteristics of USA, okay. So thus what? Though India is a federal country or federal state, still it is not a real federal state, okay. Actually, we can term it as a quasi-federal, okay, quasi-federal state. So, though India is a federal state, but actually or in true sense it is not that federal state, okay. So we can term India as a quasi-federal states, okay. So here some powers are enjoyed by the states, okay, but mostly the power is on the central government, and the people of India do not enjoy dual citizenship, okay. So though it was based on the ideas of federal state, India was based on the idea of federal state, but in true sense we cannot say India as a federal state. Instead we can say India as a quasi-federal state, okay. So now you see in India what happened, you see that though the power was divided between the state and the government, okay. So though the system of our country or though the constitution, okay, divided the power between center and the state, but actually, okay, the main power is in the hand of the central government, okay. So state government will run according to the instruction of the central government, okay. The states will run, though states have their own power also, okay, our states have our own power also, but in actually what, in some cases we are depending on the central government, okay. So that means what, that though the states enjoy what separate power, still all the states of the country or all the states of our country India is what, they are together, or we can say that union of states, integrity, okay. There is a unity and integrity among all the states of our country, okay. Again you see in our country we don't enjoy what, dual citizenship, okay. So dual citizenship means I can have citizenship of my country also and I can take citizenship of other country also. This is what dual citizenship, that means one person can take the citizen of two countries, but what, India does not accept dual citizenship, okay. So in India the people of India should be only of what, Indian citizenship, okay, to enjoy the powers, the freedoms, the opportunity, the equality, okay. To enjoy all these things we must be what, Indian citizen. We cannot be other country citizen. So if I will be other country citizen, then these ideals like freedom, equality, liberty, these will be not applicable to me, okay. So in India the people of our country must have one citizenship to enjoy all the powers which were vested in the or which were given to the people of the country. Okay, so if I want to enjoy all this freedom which were provided by the constitution of our country, then I must be the citizen of my own country, that is India. Okay, so I cannot be a other country's citizen and enjoy this freedom. Okay, so this was all about what? Federal characteristics of what? Indian political system. So though India is a what? Federal state, but actually it is not a true federal state. Instead, it is a what? A quasi-federal state. Again, India doesn't follow the federal characteristics of USA. Okay, so India follow the federal characteristics of Canada. Okay, so this is the important point, that India follow the federal characteristics of Canada, and India doesn't give what? Doesn't accept, okay, dual citizenship, and more power is vested on the central government. Okay, so this was about what? Federal characteristics of Indian political system. So now we will discuss what? Parliamentary characteristics of India. So now we will discuss parliamentary democracy in India. Okay. So before starting parliamentary democracy in India, we should know what is parliamentary democracy. So we should know what is parliamentary democracy. Okay, so parliamentary democracy, okay, is such a administrative system. Okay, the parliamentary democracy is such an administrative system where the highest administrative powers are vested, okay, where the highest administrative powers are vested on the people's representative. Okay, that means parliamentary democracy, okay, it is a system where the highest administrative powers are vested on the elected people's representative. Okay, so parliamentary democracy is a system where the administrative power, that means ruling power, okay, ruling power of the country are vested on whom? On the elected people's representative. That means whom we elect, okay, through our vote. We cast our vote to our representative, and that representative what? In turn run or rule what? Our country. So this is what parliamentary democracy. That means the most of the highest administrative powers are vested on the people whom we elect. Okay, so those representatives whom we elect, that elected representative will have what? The power to rule the country, or the all the administrative will be vested on whom? On the representative whom we elect. Okay, so this is known as what? Parliamentary democracy. So such a body, okay, such a body constituted by the elected representative is known as Congress in USA. So Congress in USA. Okay, so don't get confused. in our country we have a political party, that name is also what? Congress. Okay, but this is not about the political party of our country. So I am discussing what? The body, okay, the body which constitute elected representative. Okay, the body which constitute elected representative of a people is known as Congress in USA, and in India and England it is known as what? Parliament. So Parliament. So it is in India and England. So in England also there is Parliament. Okay, so in USA elected body, okay, the body which constitute, okay, the body which is constituted by the elected representative is known as Congress in USA, and India it is known as what? Parliament. So in India we have two parliament. In India we have what? Two parliament. One is what? House of People. Okay, House of People. So House of People is known as Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha. Okay, and Council of Ministers. Sorry, ministers better, Council of States. Okay, so Council of States is known as Rajya Sabha. So in India we have two parliament. One is known as what? Lok Sabha, and other is known as what? Rajya Sabha. Okay, so Rajya Sabha is what? Council of States, and Lok Sabha is also known as what? House of People. Okay, the democratic system. Okay, so the democratic system which give utmost importance to parliament is known as parliamentary democracy. So what is parliamentary democracy? So we can also say that those democracy, okay, or that democracy which give utmost importance or most importance to parliament, okay, is known as parliamentary democracy. So those democracy or that democracy which give utmost importance to parliament or parliamentary system is known as parliamentary democracy. So though in India and in England both have parliament, okay, or both is what? Parliamentary democracy. The both India and England enjoy what? Parliamentary democracy. Still there is some difference between what? Parliament democracy of England and parliamentary democracy of India. So though both India and England have parliamentary democratic system, still both have some differences. So let's see what are the differences. So number one, so firstly, the parliament democracy of India is republic. Okay, so Indian parliamentary democracy. So I am writing in short. Okay, democracy is republic. Okay, so Indian parliamentary democracy is what? Republic. But the Indian parliamentary is what? Not republic. Okay, because unlike what? unlike England, okay, in India the head of the state is what? Not hereditary, okay, is not hereditary. But in England, okay, the head of the states, that means president you can say, so the head of the states is what? Hereditary. That means it is run by whom? By the king, queen and their family. Okay, so in this sense what? The parliamentary democracy is what? Republic. Okay, so Indian republic is what? Indian democracy is what? It is not hereditary. Okay, it is republic. But England parliamentary system is what? It is what? Not republic. It is hereditary. The king, the queen and their family what? Succeeded the head of the states. Okay. Number 2, what? The power and composition of the upper house. Okay. Power and composition. Powers and composition of upper house. Upper house means Rajya Sabha. Sabha is different, okay, in powers and composition of England. Okay, so the power and composition of our upper house is different from that of the what? House of Lords. Okay, House of Lords means their parliament, England parliament. Okay, higher England parliament. So our powers and composition is totally different from the powers and composition of the England parliament system. Okay, and number 3 is what? And number 3, okay, the Parliament of England is the most powerful what? Parliamentary democracy. Okay, so England Parliament is the most powerful parliamentary democracy. So England's parliament is the most powerful parliamentary democracy system, but our Indian parliament is not that much of powerful. Okay, but our Indian parliament is not so much powerful because Indian constitution has created the parliament. So our most powerful is what? Constitution. Okay, since parliament is created under whom? Under the constitution of our country. Therefore the parliament system of our country is not so much powerful like that of England. In our country, our own constitution, our Indian constitution is the most powerful. So hope you have understood whatever I have taught you today, and if you get any doubt, any problem in understanding, then comment in the comment section. I will try to solve your problem. So till then, stay safe, stay home. Thank you.